Even with legends like Axel, Conduit, and Valkyrie dominating the meta right now in Apex Legends ranked, I still believe that Wraith is one of, if not the best legends in Apex when it comes to successfully solo queuing. And with solo queue only ranked in Diamond Plus lobbies coming very soon, improving at solo queue has never been more important. So in today's video, we're going to be going over 2 solo queue ranked games where I was playing Wraith, and I'm going to be giving you guys an inside the mind look into my decision-making, positioning, and overall just everything that goes into how I play Wraith to pull off solo queue in Apex in these Diamond and above lobbies. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to skip through the initial looting phase and hop right into this first fight here. Now we hear 2 teams kind of start to fight over to the side, and I'm going to look to third party this. Now a big mistake I see when people try to third party is they end up being a bit too aggressive and end up putting themselves in the middle of the 2 teams originally fighting. So I go ahead and I wrap behind, finding a nice little high ground position where I can safely pinch these 2 teams and let the team deep kind of continue to work up onto these guys while I deal damage from behind. Now there ends up being a 4th team that rolls in from our right side, so I'm still going to be able to play this high ground. I'm trying to use this rock. It's a little bit of a head glitch, but it's not the greatest piece of cover here. I'm still taking a lot of damage. So this is where we're going to use that get out of jail free card, which is going to be Wraith's Q ability. And that's going to be one of the main reasons I think she's still one of the best solo legends, because it allows you to try to make plays as a solo. And if you're not in the greatest spot, you can still just use her Q to back out. Now, unfortunately, we end up getting shot by a 5th team coming in from the other side. Thankfully, one of my random teammates was a Gibby, so he quickly bubbled and res me. We go ahead and pop a bat, and I'm going to use my Wraith portal to completely get us out of this situation. There's just too many teams. They have too many angles. So we go ahead using this Wraith ultimate to reposition myself and my teammates to this building. Now, the reason I went to this building is simply it's the best piece of cover that we have in this area. And if there's a spot that I want to take a 3v3 in, it's going to be this building. So that's why I take us here. And that's exactly what's going to end up happening. That 5th party from deep that ended up knocking me walks up on our side. Now, I try to play this close angle on the door as long as I can, just trying to deal some poke damage with my R9 up close. But the caustic is just putting too much pressure on me, so I go ahead using my Q to back up to this nice little high ground area, and then we're kind of playing this fight a bit slow. Unfortunately, I get hit with another sniper shot, a good shot by them, so I have to go ahead and pop a Phoenix kit because I don't really have any other big heals. Luckily, this team is a bit slow in pushing, but when I try to slide up into this middle high ground area to get angles on them walking in, I realize they actually already went roof, so I end up taking a good amount of damage again. I have to use that get out of jail free card, which is my Q ability to back up. I'm going to sit on this doorway, which eliminates 1 entry point from them while I pop heals. Now, as the caustic drops down, I slide in to help my teammates, but I hear his teammate behind me, so that's why I slide over to these boxes and use them for cover. I then peek out. We hit some really nice wingman shots as well, and we turn this into a nice 2v1. Unfortunately, my teammate's going to end up going down, and that's going to leave me in a 1v1. But when I deal a little bit of poke damage, I see on his health bar that he's very low. So I'm just going to be super aggressive there, sliding in with the R9 to clean up a really nice team fight. And I think that fight was a great example of 2 major keys, which is going to be timing your Wraith Qs correctly so that when you really need it, you have it and you're able to quickly reposition. And then being aware of the angles in which your enemies can peek you from and learning how to play little pieces of cover to kind of take away those angles from your enemies in 3v3s. Now, after looting up quickly, we go ahead and we actually hear shots back over on this other side. So I'm going to look to enter another third party, but I end up actually hearing a team that is kind of close to me on this rock. Now, I wasn't sure if this was the team being shot at or not, so I look to walk up on them when they end up hearing me and sliding aggressively on top of me. So I quickly use my Wraith Q to fall back. I don't go too far back though. Notice how, because I didn't take that much damage, I quickly get out of my Q and help my team in this 3v3, and we're actually able to get 2 knocks. Now, I'm fully expecting my Gibby teammate to go ahead and try to res our Axel, but while he's doing that, I have my Q again, so I'm looking to be aggressive here and try to take out the 3rd in a fair 1v1. Anytime I'm in a situation where I can take a 1v1 and I have my Q, I'm pretty much always looking to do it, because if something goes wrong, I can Q out. But unfortunately, it seems that their 3rd got away, so we're not able to actually fully eliminate this team. But getting 2 more KP is always solid, so we will take that. Now, we also heard sniper shots from deep that could have been looking at this team or a different team. So I'm trying to kind of get a read on this whole situation. We also already have zone positioning, and that's also going to mean that a lot of teams are probably going to be rotating into this area or around us, especially with all the shots going off. So it's very likely that we run into more teams here. And now we do end up getting shot by that original team from down beast. I'm guessing this is that sniper team from earlier, and I end up hitting a really nice grenade there, getting 70 damage. And I'm going to look to push up and play this little spot as a head glitch. Head glitches are just any piece of cover where where you can shoot and only your head is exposed. Those are just really, really strong for dealing damage without taking too much in return. Now, unfortunately, they use aceu ult and deal some big damage on me, so I quickly use my wraith Q to fall back to this rock, and I'm trying to just go ahead and get a battery off to reset here. Now, I know that enemy down to my lower right is pushing back up, so I get back to this nice little area, and I'm looking to help my Gibby as he gets swung. We hit a really nice spray with the R99, and we're able to get the knock with the wingman, but then I get hit by the Vantage, who's playing up on the high ground, and so I'm going to go ahead and use this cannon to try to just completely buy myself time, basically. The spot I was in while being marked by Vantage and having the possibility of teams coming out behind me just was a horrible spot to be. So I'm going to go ahead and get this full elimination while I'm over here and hit a loot refresh. And super quick, I just wanted to let you guys know that I do stream live over on Twitch almost every day. So if you do want to come check it out, enjoy some games just like this, some good vibes, there's a link to my Twitch channel right here on my YouTube channel. But let's get right back into the video. And after we finish up doing that, I take the cannon back, grouping back up with my teammates. And my focus at this point is now trying to figure out maybe how we want to play this end game. We're in a horrible spot, to be completely honest. This whole area is very open. There's not much cover or buildings we can really play here. So I really want to try to get me and my teammates out of this spot and into a better position we can play for the late game. Now we have a couple teams rotating in the zone behind us, so we're just kind of playing on these rocks, trying to deal some poke damage so that they can't walk up on top of us. And unfortunately, my teammate, the Gibby, ends up going down here. I honestly take responsibility for this, though. I think I really should have been more on top of getting us into a building we could play. Probably using my Wraith ultimate to do so earlier would have been the play. Unfortunately, like I said, I'm a little bit late at doing that. My Gibby gets caught in a bad spot, but I'm going to go ahead and use my Wraith phase bubble from my ultimate to make sure that my Gibby doesn't get fully eliminated and reposition us into this building. Like I said, I definitely should have done this sooner. This way, me, Gibby, and the Axel could have been here all up. But it is what it is at this point. We go ahead, we get the reset, getting our Gibby back up. Now, unfortunately, we kind of just have to try to be quiet in this situation. We don't want to bring too much attention to ourselves if we're looking to reset here. But a team of 3 spots us after they Velk ult. They get the scan on us. So we're going to be forced into taking a 3v2 in this building. Unfortunately, we're also getting shot at from the back. So I'm going to play in this little corner area so that they can't angle me out. This is basically creating that same situation I talked about at the beginning of the game, where you're creating a sandwich on your enemies versus yourself. I know that if I position myself on the other side of this building, they're going to get thirded from that team shooting me from behind. And that's exactly what happens. Now, we do slide in and end up hitting some nice shots to clean it up. But because I positioned myself on the other side of the building, they took a ton of damage from that team behind. So instead of us getting pinched in between, they got pinched in between. And that's what really opened up the door for me to be able to slide in, hit some solid shots, and clean up a quick 1v2 on the staircase once they were already low. Little micro positioning like that within fights is truly one of the biggest difference makers in getting better as a player. Once you can start to read the situation on what's going on in the entire area that you're playing within and look to position yourself to avoid as much damage from other angles as possible, I promise that's really going to be a game changer in winning more fights. Now, we still have 9 teams remaining, so this is going to be a bit of a tough play, but I come up with the idea to maybe try to portal onto my teammate's death box and go for a box revive. Now, unfortunately, once I get close to it, I realize that it's not in the greatest spot for me to be able to do that. So I go ahead and I end up grabbing the Kraber, which has an infinite ammo as well, which is going to be really useful here in this end game. Now, I go ahead and I do try to give the death box a second look, hoping that maybe there was a chance I could get the res off, but it just wasn't going to be possible in this area. But we were still able to get that Kraber with infinite ammo and get back to my teammate. And I'm just going to look to deal as much pressure as possible with this Kraber. Because we're only a 2-person team, the more pressure and the more damage I can do with the Kraber to push teams away from us, the better. Now, as I'm doing that, my Gibby comes up with the idea, basically, that he's going to take my Wraith portal and Gibby bubble on top of the death box and then try to respawn our teammate like that, which is a great idea. And as he's doing that, I'm just trying to hold this space. Unfortunately, these teams realize that I am a solo in this position, so I'm just simply going to try to play my life here. We get caught in some really awkward spots, so I go ahead and use my Wraith Q, and I'm asking my teammates as I'm getting up this hill to try to look over me just in case they chase up the hill towards me. Fortunately, they didn't. They realized that that would be a really bad decision. My Gibby also uses ultimate, which was really solid play of him. And we're in a horrible spot here. We're in the middle of two teams, one up top and one behind us. But I hit a really solid Kraber headshot to back the team up top off of us. I instantly then look to shoot at the team behind us to try to back them up as well. When unfortunately, I end up taking a sentinel headshot from deep on the right side from a whole different team. I instantly go ahead and I use my Q ability to try to find a spot to just safely heal with so many teams looking at us in this area. But unfortunately, I knew that if that team that was up top on the hill did spot me, use my Q ability to get back here, they were just going to hold me out of zone. And that's exactly what ended up happening. They did see me using my Q, and I do get caught in a horrible spot, getting taken out here. This was a bit of an unfortunate situation, to be honest, at the end of this game. There really was nowhere for us to play. We got third-partied from a bunch of different teams from a bunch of different angles. But I think that earlier in this game, like I said, if I had ported my Gibby and my Axel and myself all to a building earlier before we got caught out in the open in a bad spot and end up losing our Axel, that would have been the game changer. So it really is those little decisions and those little mistakes that make the difference in winning or losing in these solo queue rank games. But we're going to instantly hop right into the next game in this video. Now, we start off this fight by getting a nice recon scan, giving us a ton of info on where these three guys are. We kind of have an isolated fight here at Terraformer, so it's definitely going to be a fight we want to take. Now, we're able to actually open this fight up with some really nice initial wingman shots, and then my teammate actually gets the knock. And with him playing Axel, this is going to be absolutely free to go ahead and just push up on. Now, I see my first random teammate go ahead, and he takes this upper angle, shooting at the guy playing behind the box. So I go ahead and try to get an angle to the left, pushing up on this guy. But my teammate had already knocked him. So we go ahead. Now that we have two knocks, my Velk is going to go ahead here and pop his ultimate. Not going to lie, I wanted to hop on there with him, but unfortunately, he already takes off. But we're still going to get that info that we're really looking for with that Velk ult, finding where this solo ran off to. But as we're pushing up on the solo who ran away, we see a bunch of other scans, which means a whole new team of three actually ran into this solo. So this fight gets a little bit more complicated. However, anytime you're playing up on a hill, playing on the top side of it is going to be so strong because you're going to basically get a free head glitch while looking down at your enemies. And I'm going to use that to try to deal as much damage as I can with this wingman to open up the fight. Now, I'm able to do that, but unfortunately, I take a lot of damage in return. And this is a great example of why Overflow is still one of the best amps in my opinion. Because all I have to do is quickly pop one cell, then I can instantly go back to applying pressure. We're able to hit some really nice shots and deal some solid damage to this first enemy. Now, I go ahead and use some grenades on both sides of this rock, so if he tries to escape either way, he's running into them. My teammate ends up getting the knock, and off of that, we're going to be very aggressive just because now we're in a 3v2. Now, they go ahead and pop Lifeline ult and then use Wraith Portal as well to get out of there, but I see exactly where he's running to. And in this type of situation, we're just being pretty much full-on aggressive. I noticed that my two teammates actually took the Wraith Portal, so I'm just going to sit up top here, and the conduit just ends up running right back into me. So we clean up that free elimination. My teammates go on to clean up their last teammate quickly, which is going to give us the team wipe, and that's going to give us some really solid KP going into this kind of mid to end game part of the game. Now, jumping ahead a little bit here, we get another recon scan, and as you can see, the whole lobby is on that recon scan, and so we're not going to want to overcommit to any fights in this type of situation. If we full commit into a 3v3 in the middle of all that, you are absolutely guaranteed to get third partied. So off of that information, I think the best thing to do here is definitely play on this edge of the zone, look for some zone holds, maybe look to third party some of these fights as they get going, and that's exactly what I'm going to try to do here. So I'm going to hit an evac tower and go straight up onto this roof and try to use this high ground position to safely deal damage and try to get some eliminations. Now, I'm actually able to hit some really solid wingman shots and get a knock onto somebody trying to run away, and we're actually able to get the full elimination on that too, which is awesome. But like I said, with how many people were on that recon scan, I know there's going to be so many fights going on around us, so I'm instantly looking around at the other angles trying to see what else I could third party. Now, these shots this deep out with the wingman are definitely kind of difficult to hit, so I'm going to look to work up a little bit closer to these guys that were fighting up on the hill because it just seems like the most free third party possible. My teammates are also taking care of some teams on the edge of the zone behind me, but I see that they're handling themselves pretty well. And when you notice that your random teammates are doing pretty solid on their own, then you can look to maybe make some plays like I'm making right here as a solo Wraith, where I'm just trying to third party this fight, but stay at a safe distance where I could try to do some poke damage with the wingman, maybe steal an elimination or two, but not overcommit myself where I can't get out. And that's exactly what I'm able to do, dealing some nice initial damage. My teammates then come flying in and actually throw an aceu ult, which we're able to take advantage of by getting another knock. And we easily clean that up. And again, that's nothing too crazy right there. It's just having the awareness of what your teammates are doing, which is something I talk about a lot in the context of solo queuing ranked. You have to be able to really read what your teammates are doing and even how good your teammates are when you're playing with randoms. And then that can kind of dictate the pace at which you play and the decisions that you make. Because some games, you're going to get two really good random teammates, and you're going to be able to up the pace and really be aggressive. And some games, it's going to be the complete opposite, where you have to kind of slow it down and play more around their slower tempo. And this even applies in fights themselves. Being able to read your teammates' positions and angles that they're taking will give you information that you can use and take advantage of yourself. So playing around your teammates really is a skill that takes a lot of effort and time and practice at, but is definitely something you can improve at. So now getting back into this gameplay, we're going to go ahead and hit a Valk ult here, which is the perfect play. Valk ult is so good, not only for repositioning into the zone here, but most importantly, giving us a ton of information on where everybody's going to be playing. And with only 6 squads left and 14 enemies remaining, this is going to be really good as we rotate in to see where everybody's at. And you can kind of see that everybody's just kind of bunched up in this choke point, which means it's going to be really easy for us to just kind of play edge of zone here, try to maybe look for some fights. And again, like I've said a couple times in this video, just not overcommit ourselves into the middle of anything too much, or just try to stay on the outside of everything going on, do some poke damage, try to steal some eliminations. Right there, unfortunately, the aim was not aiming, as you can see, but we're still able to get the knock and get that elimination for free on the edge. And then I quickly go ahead and use my Wraith Q to fall back to cover with my teammates. And we're going to kind of continue to do that same thing, play in between the enemy and where the zone is going, playing from a nice safe little piece of cover right here, trying to deal some poke damage from deep and try to steal some eliminations from some of these teams fighting on the edge. I then actually hear one of these teams push up on my teammate, so I go ahead and try to climb up to help him. Now, I don't know exactly what I'm climbing up into. I thought they were actually playing up top here, but when I see that they drop down, it works out perfect. They drop down on my teammate. It was only a solo, and we just look down and clean it up. Again, nothing too crazy here. We're just using some solid positioning and hitting some nice shots to clean up and get some extra KP at the end of this game. Now, skipping ahead one last time here, we slide back down to this building that we're going to be playing, and I'm looking to, again, try to zone hold a bit here. Getting to the edge of the zone early, especially from a nice place of cover like this doorway, is going to be clutch. And I'm actually able to get a knock onto the conduit as she's going by. And now I'm going to look to walk in behind that team that just rotated into the left. And not only did I get the knock, but I see my teammates pushing up through the building, kind of to the right side of this team. And I'm going to look to try to create a pinch situation. That's always going to be something you're trying to do within any fight with random teammates, is play off of them when they push in from one side. Look to try to push in from the other to kind of collapse upon your enemy. Now, I'm able to get the full elimination on the conduit, but I noticed that my teammates didn't really push up like I was expecting them to. And this is another situation where this Wraith Q just comes in so clutch. I'm able to just pop the Q, fall back to my teammates. I do end up having a guy above me here, which I'm able to kind of push off with some car shots, and my teammates break the window for me to climb up into. And even though that play didn't really turn into much, just being able to make little solo plays like that, and if it doesn't go great, just hit that Q button and fall right back to your teammates, is why Wraith will just always be super strong as a solo queue legend. Now, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know if this has got to be a bug, because my aim be bad sometimes, but not this bad. We got to get this bug fixed ASAP, you know what I'm saying? But anyways, we finally break this catalyst queue just in case I need to play that room. We're able to push to it. And now I'm going to go ahead, pop a cell to get my overflow going and get back to full HP. And this is again going to be another situation where I'm looking to pinch with my teammates. I noticed that the team up top has fallen off the roof and pushed up on this team on the wall. So I'm going to look as my teammates come in from the right to come in from the left, and we create a little pinch on that enemy. And then I notice that their third is actually way further back on the wall than I expected. And when I see him getting sent by the aceu ultimate, we try to go for a little look away while he was 1 HP. But I might have started whiffing a little bit, so we had to make sure we secured the dub. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. We covered so many different things, from positioning on a macro scale, zone holding, micro positioning, and using cover within fights, all that type of stuff. So like I said, I really hope you guys enjoyed and found this video helpful. Thank you again so much for all the love and support always. It truly means the world. We have more Inside the Mind videos just like this coming very, very soon. So I'll catch you guys in the next one. And as always, have a great rest of your day. Peace.